This video is brought to you by Craven's Comic Books and Collectibles. Check out their weekly live show, auction, and sale at facebook.com/cravenscomics every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And you can check out their inventory at cravenscomics.com. Craven's Comics, for the comics you crave. Welcome to the program, Alice Wetterlund.
Hello. Thank you for having me and saying nice things.
Yeah, well, I tend to do that because I usually don't want to talk to people that I don't think are cool. So thankfully,
I use that as well.
Yeah, it's a good way to pick guests. Yeah, exactly. Ooh, so of course, Alice, Resident Aliens had 8 episodes of its first season out. We got 2 episodes left.
Yep.
It's a small town murder mystery sci-fi doctor dramedy. That's a lot of different genres into one. It's great.
Yeah.
So of course, your character kind of drops into a lot of both the comedy and the drama on this show. Really interesting character as Darcy. So for people who haven't had a chance to check out the show yet, which you should be watching it, people, Tell us a little bit about Darcy.
Yeah. If you're not watching the show, listen, get your act together. Okay.
That's right.
I really don't, I don't mess around. Just kidding. Darcy is so unique, but Chris Sheridan, the writer, and I worked really hard on making a character that would be very little work for me to play. So in a lot of ways, she's based on me. She definitely likes to be the center of attention and to kind of work the room. She's very much the life of the party in a lot of ways, but she's got, her demons. And she's an athletic person, and she has a backstory that's kind of her crushing defeat at the Olympics due to an injury. It kind of ruined her life in a lot of ways. So she's sort of stuck in patience.
Yeah. And with the most recent episode, she really had to take on her demons, full throttle, being stuck inside a glacier.
Yeah. And she said that they would be stuck in the glacier if they did that. So,
I'm expecting in episode 9, the beginning of the first scene you're in that episode being, I told you so. I told you so. That's how that's if it's not there.
And if for some reason that's not the opening scene of episode 9, know that it's happening behind the scenes.
Yes.
Because we can't show everything that happens in Patience, but it is happening.
Why not? I think there should be like a companion show that shows you every scene that you didn't get to see. Like what's happening with every other person. Yes.
Right. Like Big Brother, Patience. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. They can just keep it in the 59 and then, and just go from there.
Right.
See people coming in. You got to take breaks in between scenes anyways, right? So
we sure do. You see people coming in, you see people going out. I mean, it's great. So that we got a pitch right there.
It's great pitch, definitely. So season, it's been picked up for a season 2, which is great. When did you hear the news?
Well, Chris is, he likes the malarkey, and Chris really likes to make an event out of things.
Okay.
We're a very close-knit group, and there's a lot of, suffice to say, theater people in our cast who, Alan's a theater guy, and theater people tend to be sort of emotive and fun to kind of have big emotional moments with. So Chris really plays with that. And he did this thing where he, he was like, hey, can we do a Zoom? Because I need to talk to you guys about scheduling. Very low key, not teasing it at all. And I fell for it completely. I should have known, but I fell for it completely. And he was like, so we're looking at, we know we've been pushed a little bit, and we're looking at hopefully starting shooting in March if we get picked up for a season 2, which we did just officially an hour ago. Anyway, and just to fuck with us, really. And so we're just like, everybody's losing their minds about that. And it was, fortunately, Sarah's boyfriend, TJ, Sarah's fiance now, had for some reason a video of the Zoom that he was taking with his camera. So we got to relive that moment over and over again. So
for posterity. That's great. That's great. So you guys, basically you guys just like to fuck around with each other.
Very much. Yeah. And it's yeah, that's how we are. Everybody's kind of set. We've been filming for years now, because the way that the show is rolled out, there was a long pause between the pilot and the pickup, and then the long pause between filming and filming again. So we've been working with the same people for a really long time, and even the crew, we all know each other really well now.
That's awesome.
Speaking of that, I was as I was watching the show, which I've been a fan of yours now for a while. I've seen you in so many different shows, and I was a big fan of People of Earth, and I was like, "Hey, it's great! I get to see you again." And then I'm noticing people showing up from that show, and I'm like, "What?" And I'm like, "And this is an alien show. That was an alien show." I'm just like, it's. I'm just waiting for Michael Cassidy to actually just turn into a reptilian, right? Like that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah. I want to believe, right? There's no coincidences. It's the kind of thing you got to think about. Who's next? Yeah. Michael is a good friend of mine. I made friends with him on People of Earth, and he's just like the best, awesomest dude ever. And the first time I saw Michael Cassidy, I was like, ugh, one of these guys, because he's like super handsome and like got his shit together, and he's got like, a perfect, beautiful family and this whole Hollywood life, and like, he's such a dork. He's like the dorkiest person I've ever met. And he's just like, yeah, he really is. Like, somebody described him in the script as a sexy Labrador. And that's exactly the vibe. Anyway, so it turns out Chris is really good friends with Michael Cassidy as well. And so we were like, well, we have to get him on the show.
Yeah, it was so much fun. And I just remember when he came on, it's just like seeing that character just show up, but then Harry's reaction to him showing up and how everybody's fawning over him. So you describing what Michael's like in real life, it's kind of like, oh, okay, so he's not that perfect, sexy Labrador anymore.
Yeah, but he really can play one.
Yeah, he certainly can. He's very
perfect for that role.
Oh man. Well, when it comes to sci-fi series and shows about aliens, I really want to see if you'd be interested in eventually pulling the trigger on doing a sci-fi series about your conspiracy about the country music industry and aliens.
God, I would love that. It's just so ripe, right? It's just like, I started working on that as I was like, oh, this is a great joke, because like me and my friends we'd listen to New Country all the time, and like one of the things they talk about in like country music is like the Hickory Wind. And one time, one of my comedian buddies, Danny Solomon, he's like, what is a hickory wind? Like, yeah, what is a hickory wind? They're talking about it all the time. Maybe it's like a monster that hunts them. Anyway, so we just like kept going on, and we're just like, it is really weird that they talk, So, and then the more I got into it, the more I was like, this is like weird. This might be really something. And then the whole thing happened where they didn't want me to talk about what song, the copyright issues with me. I mean, I was like, oh my God, this is like, if I cared at all about this, I would be really like upset and pressed, and I would definitely start at like 4chan.
Maybe some ideas for season 2 then, like a B plot in season 2 of Resident Alien.
I definitely don't want to overburden Chris with more of my ideas. I mean, my God, they're so patient with me, to be honest. Robbie, one of our directors, is just like, I don't understand how he hasn't fired me yet, because I just show up and he's like, okay, so we're going to go from this scene. And I'm like, how about we go from this scene? We'll do that again. And he's like, no, we'll go from the one I said. He's so patient with me. And I'm just like, afterwards, I'm like, why do I constantly tell people what to do? It's weird. I'm very comfortable at work is what the moral of that story is.
In a very comfortable work environment for you. Yeah. You feel you can say anything. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, it's either that or you want to be the actual director / showrunner and just.
I do, but I don't want to say it because it's so cliche. Right. You never hear a director be like, I direct, but what I really want to do is wait tables.
Oh, exactly. Now, of course, during this time of COVID, you're not able to get out there on the road, but you have done a number of digital appearances doing comedy. And I heard you say at one point that your goal was to go in the pandemic was to become the best at doing digital stand-up so that when you go back to crowds, nothing will break you.
Yeah, that was the idea. Cause once you get used to like 5 people sort of chuckling, and you're like, that's killing. Yeah, you're bulletproof. You're like, all right, I got this. No big deal. Like people laughing after this is going to be it's going to throw me. If I hear a wall of laughter to one of my jokes, which is how I describe what it normally is, a wall of laughter, it is going to throw me. I'm going to be like annoyed.
Well,
I might go back to digital after this. I might be unable to perform live because it's just too much. I'm just like, I need to get my thoughts out. You guys shut up.
I think you need to work on your core if you go back to live audiences then. If you're going to get hit with a wall of laughter, maybe.
Yeah, and that is part of it. Yeah, you do need to, James, that's a good point. You do actually really need to strengthen the core. Yeah. Solar plexus is kind of where you absorb the laughter. So
the natural defense mechanism against the wall of sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Now, of course, also on Instagram Live, you've been doing the Hell in a Bucket show.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you for. It's weird. None of my Instagram followers know about it, but I have been doing it. Like, I did somebody else's show the other day, and all my Instagram followers, I recognized some of their handles. They all showed up, and I was like, "Where are you guys normally? I do this every week, and they don't show up." But yeah, it's basically become just a thing where I hang out with my friends every week. My friend Morgan Miller, who's a comedian from Denver, we sit and just lose our minds. And then before that, I usually have 2 rotating guests. And next week it's going to be Ian Carmel and Ray Sani. And it's great because like a lot of my friends are New York people, or they live in New Orleans or whatever, and I don't get to see them, but this is like me just hanging out with them.
It's a really funny show. I really enjoy it. So when you were putting it together, were you like, okay, I got the idea of like, I got a soundboard here. I got some audience, got some effects, got my friends. Let's go.
Yep, that's exactly what it was. And the audio doesn't work at all because the Instagram has a competitive audio situation where like, if I'm talking, everything else is blotted out, like on a phone call, Yeah. It like auto silences. So like if a comedian's talking and I play a bunch of laughter, they'll suddenly start like, they'll like start mouthing and it's silent. So it completely ruins their punchline. It's a shit show. It's hell in a bucket. So
it's a lot of fun, that Hell in a Bucket. It really is. I got to ask, how's your cat doing? How's the acne?
I just gave him his, oh my God. So the cat acne, still terrible. His hair isn't falling out anymore, but I have been giving him this stuff they gave me. I now stopped that. I'm now going back to witch hazel because it seems like it bothers him less and it also is working better. But then the other cat fucking was projectile vomiting, which they're not supposed to do. It's not like a feature of cats. So there's just, he's like, ah, and it's just like, go away. And it's water, So I take him to the emergency vet. And the rule with cat medicine is they never know what it is, ever. They will never know what it is. It's always $1,000 minimum. And if they know it's going to be if they know what it is, it's on top of the 1,000, right? So it's $1,000 to bring your cat in the door. Nobody knows what's going on. And then, which is like, become a cat doctor, right? You don't really ever have to. They're like, he seems upset. Please give me your credit card. Anyway, so he is like, and they're like, okay, so he has asthma and bronchitis. So I have to give him this little inhaler that I put on his snoot. And then I have to give him Pepsid AC for the vomiting and a bland food diet. And I've been boiling him chicken and rice.
Wow.
Man.
That is.
So you'd think he was not worth it, but he is. He's like the most worth it cat. He's so cute that I want to eat him, like when you have an animal that's so cute that you just, I would like eat him like an ice cream cone if I wouldn't hurt him, like when I take him to the vet, they're like, he has a sinus problem. And I'm like, do I need to suck it out with my mouth? And they're like, whoa, you definitely shouldn't do that.
Yeah. I think you jumped a few steps there.
I say it way too quick. They're like, "What? Okay, don't do that. It's bad." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I never would. But if I did, what would happen?"
Oh man.
See, hearing your stories. I don't feel so bad. My cat's been ill the last few weeks as well, and I don't feel as bad now because your situation is way worse than mine. That's a lot of extra steps.
It's a lot of steps. It's always just you're juggling a lot of unknowns. One time he had an ear infection, and the doctor was like, "It's either an ear infection or a brain tumor." So the brain tumor is $5,000, but we could just give him the earache medication, and then if it's a brain tumor, he'll die. But if it's not, the medication will work. And I'm like, but it's $40. So maybe we'll just give him the ear medication, and then if he dies, then we'll know it was a brain tumor.
That is a good scam, though, to be like, hey, here's this big expensive thing, but over here, this is cheaper, but it could kill him. Yeah. My God.
I'm telling you, vets, they've got it made. It's like Alice said, it's just like because my situation, it's been every visit has been either $400, $500, or $1,000 every visit. And all he does is just give me the cat back because I have to sit in the parking lot. I can't come in. Right?
You sit in the parking lot the whole time. My one saving grace is the place I go to now is across from IKEA.
There you go.
See, I don't get that. I just got to sit in my car and worry about the cat, and that's it. And then they come back and they go, "Here's your cat."
Yeah, here's your cat. I need some money from you now. Yeah. I think you know that.
And they don't. For me, it's half the time I don't even get a real answer. Like you're saying, it's like, what happened?
Well, what happened is that cats can get sick. And when you see those symptoms, it could be a number of things. It could be a pancreatitis. It could be blood cancer. It could be a brain tumor. It could be an ear infection, or just a sinus blockage, or it could be nail fungus. So we're just going to watch it.
Jeez.
And you're like,
Oh man. Yeah, no, that is not, I'm actually glad I'm not a cat owner because it seems like a lot of stress for you guys. Definitely.
Yeah, it's way more stress than you'd imagine.
I had a great run, 13 years. This is only the second time I've had to take her to the
vet.
There
you go.
But now it seems to be like the downward slide, and I'm just like,
It might be. You never know, though. They might boot and rally. We'll see.
That's what I'm hoping for.
You got to believe.
Yeah, well,
definitely got to believe. Yes, always believe.
I'm glad I talked to you tonight, Alice. You're making me feel a little bit better about my cat situation. It'll be,
Anytime, James. That's kind of my main reason for existing. Making people feel better about their cat situation.
And that's kind of what this show is about. We actually bring on comedians and actors and other people just to make us feel better. The listeners are a bonus.
I'm glad that you admit it. It's weird that you were, pretending you had
Yes, that I had more
It's
noble intentions.
weird that you pretended there were fans before. Now we get into the real nitty gritty of what's actually going on. Just kidding, fans. Hi, you guys. I know they're like in their cars, like, we're here. Don't erase me.
Oh man! Now, I recently heard you on Hell in a Bucket come up with a great idea for the vaccination sites.
Yeah.
Of basically bringing out a flatbed truck and doing a comedy show for the people waiting to get vaccinated.
Yeah, isn't that great?
That's a great idea.
I know. I should do that. But I'm so lazy. Shit. But I really want to do it. I thought you were going to say the thing with the sniper rifle. Whoa. I didn't want to tweet this, but I was like, if we just had it be like, like a fun video game where you just like you just have a sniper rifle with the J&J and you just like, just hit people as they are walking around. Cause that's really what happened. Like I got the J&J. They're just like, here you go. Bye.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Had you been tested? Well, I guess you must be because you're on set. You're getting tested. That's what my testing situation was like. I walked in and they were just like, "Okay, lean back.
Yeah.
Okay, see you later." And I was
like,
literally like done. Get out the door.
I know. Science is unstoppable.
they're so crazy. I'm just like, I don't even know what to say about that point. At that point, you think you're gonna get like, hey, how are you feeling? Are you gonna be okay
Right.
with this? I'm gonna
Check up.
I'm gonna
Right.
stick this 18-foot Q-tip up your nose right now.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
And they put it in your nose and they're like, I don't care who you are. Do you understand that? You're a number to me. You're a statistic. Get the fuck out of here. And you're like, oh my God. I don't know if I can swear in this show, but I've been swearing this whole time.
Yeah, no,
I mean, you're in
fine.
Canada, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, ooh,
No, we
sometimes.
we can say whatever we fucking want on here. It's okay.
Wow, you did it.
I did.
Immediately your mom calls.
She might. She just might.
Mrs.
That's
Young
why I
says,
have the phone on mute.
okay. You think you're having a good time? Okay.
The phone is on mute. There you go. But anyways. Oh, man, but I gotta say, really, I'm a really big fan of your comedy, because not only do I find it funny, but it's just usually when you're saying stuff, I'm the guy who's pointing, going, that right there. I 100% agree with that. That makes sense. Like the comments you've made on Batman, it's like, I've been saying that for years. Hilarious.
Thank you. I'm so glad that I came up with that like wording, because I was working on that wording for a long time and I was just like, he shouldn't be allowed to do this stuff. Like, it's not right that he just goes after, like, there's clearly problems in this city and he's not solving them. He's not solving them. He's also maybe contributing.
Yeah.
Because he's literally the 1%, right, of Gotham. So he's just like making deals on the side with the fucking the commish, And then meanwhile, he's beating people up at night. He's actually part of the problem.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And Bane is like, I want to start over. Bane's sort of like the Bernie Sanders of it all. And it's just like, maybe not that far. Right. But like Batman, I don't know if he's he's like, oh, you got to be stopped. He's like the DNC. I'm just kidding. I don't believe it. I don't believe in that shit. I don't believe in that stuff. Again, not a conspiracy person.
Oh man, no, that's funny. But yeah, the whole comments of like, why are you beating up these criminals? They're drug addicts. They're not the people in charge. Yeah. Totally. No, great stuff. Oh man. Well, Alice, I want to thank you for coming on the program. It's been a lot of fun talking with you. Really enjoy you as Darcy on Resident Alien.
Love
Looking
the show.
forward
So
to
good.
the finale, which of course is on the 31st, and of course season 2 coming out next year, which would be fantastic. Yes, there we go. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Have a great night.
Thank you so much, you guys. This is awesome.